First up, all the news from Pathankot. Intelligence agencies have identified Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Maulana Masood Azhar as the prime mastermind of those terror attacks. This attack was reportedly planned at a seminary in Pakistani Punjab. India has also shared with Pakistan the identity of 4 Jaish-e-Mohammed terror handlers who guided these terrorists to Pathankot. Now, it has also furnished to Islamabad their phone call numbers that showed in the intercepts of their conversations with the terrorists who stormed the Air Force base. The 4 handlers have been identified as Abdul Rauf Asghar, brother of Jaish Chief Maulana Masood Azhar, Ashfaq Ahmed, Haji Abdul Shakar, Kashim Jan. Meanwhile, Ministry of External Affairs has already made it clear that the Foreign Secretary level talks will only go ahead if Islamabad acts on all the evidence that has been provided by the Indian government to Pakistan.
See, right now for us, the immediate priority is there was a conversation, as you know, between our Prime Minister and the Prime Minister of Pakistan. During that conversation, our Prime Minister very strongly urged the Prime Minister of Pakistan to take action. Actionable intelligence in regard to the terrorist attack and the links with the perpetrators in Pakistan was provided to the Pakistani side. The Pakistani Prime Minister promised us prompt and decisive action. We now await that prompt and decisive action. We have extended a hand of friendship to Pakistan, but we will not countenance cross-border terrorist attacks. As you would recall, the decision to commence a comprehensive bilateral dialogue with Pakistan followed the constructive meeting of the National Security Advisors in Bangkok, in which the central concerns of terrorism, peace and security, and tranquility along the line of control were discussed. As far as we are concerned, the ball is now in Pakistan's court. The immediate issue in front of us is Pakistan's response to the terrorist attack and the actionable intelligence that has been provided to it.
Okay, let's get in a quick word from Kamaljeet on this. Kamaljeet, so clearly once again the role of the Jaish-e-Mohammed chief stands exposed. The big question is, will Pakistan show, the resolve and courage to act on the actionable intelligence that India has provided to Pakistani establishment?
Avantika, definitely, as far as action is concerned, the ball is definitely in Pakistan courts. Now, India has some key evidences, including some voice samples, including the telephone conversation, those Pakistani phone numbers which have been shared by the NI with the ME and thereafter with Pakistan. Now, what we want is actionable intelligence and action against these particular groups operating out of Pakistan. Now, what is also more important is not just the Pakistani handlers and the Jaish-e-Mohammed handlers who've been talking to the terrorists, but also the civilian, the mother who had spoken to her son, who had initially obviously talked about how he was going to sacrifice his life, and thereafter what is more important is that she said, go ahead, eat something before you go for that action. Now, this is going to be important, the sort of voice samples. Now, in previous cases, including 2611, we know voice samples have been sought for. They've been unheeded too. Letter retrogatory or the LR has been sent constantly. Here again, India formally asking Pakistan to join probe. Now, this is something is going to be extremely important, not just for Indo-Pak relations, but also because Pakistan has always been saying that they have also been the victims of terror.
Okay.
Now, India obviously wants and is extremely concerned that when they are willing to offer friendship, why is Pakistan not going to reciprocate in a similar manner? The other part is obviously the investigation part where the NI is looking at and where many suspects at this point of time are being questioned.
Okay, Kamaljeet, now, we just spoke about the investigations as far as the diplomatic channels are concerned and the 2 governments are concerned. Now, tell me about the investigations on the ground. You are in Pathankot. What have you been observing ever since the NIA team came, to try and assess the lapses and to find out as to what really happened at the Pathankot Air Force Base?
Avantika, NIA has its hands full. It's a multi-pronged approach. So whether it is about retrieving the bodies, sending blood samples to CFSL, we talking about looking into the voice samples, going through the tape conversation, talking to the 3 crucial eyewitnesses, obviously cross-examining each one of them, getting the stories out, also going through the border areas, getting that particular shoe mold where Epcot, that shoe company from Pakistan, is written. And now this is something which is obviously a very exhaustive approach. Now what the NIA is also doing is widening its own aspect, which also means how the terrorists really made it inside the airbase to how the terrorists really made it inside India, especially on the borders. Now we know that BSF also has had an inquiry. A DIG of Amritsar is going to actually file a report within 15 days and hand over to DG BSF, who will in turn give it to Ministry of Home Affairs. So it's a very exhaustive sort of a report, and it's not going to be any easy task. There are a lot of loose ends, a lot of cross-questioning needs to be done, and that is going to take a lot of time. It's not just an easy, as Udhampur case or any of the other cases were. There are a lot of loose ends which need to be tied up.
Okay, and the NIA are doing just that. But Kamaljeet, stay with us. We're getting in some breaking news about the National Investigating Agency stumbling upon a crucial lead in the recent terror attack in Pathankot. The NIA is now questioning an employee of the Army's military and engineering services posted at the Pathankot Air Base. Investigators believe that he may have helped the terrorists infiltrate the Indian Air Force base on the 1st of January. It is also learned that on the night of this breach at the air base, 3 of the very powerful lights were said to be found turned upwards, which plunged the entire area into, darkness. Kamaljeet, this is a very important bit of information coming in, as you just mentioned, about the multi-pronged approach of the NIA. So clearly, the investigators not leaving anyone to find out just how did these terrorists make this audacious and this daring attack inside the Indian Air Force and Indian Air Force base, and this obviously could not have happened without the help of local handlers.
Well, definitely. An inside job is what is many are fearing, and that is what NIA is also looking at. And now this is a very, very big air base. And if you look at the expanse as to where to get in, how to really assemble, and we've been told by our sources that these terrorists had come in a group of 2 and 4. So they were talking, and Rajesh Verma, that is what he told his NIA investigators, is that they were talking as to how a group had made it earlier inside the airbase, and these 4 people were supposed to join them. Now there was a talk about how they were talking to their ustad, and they were given instruction as to join this other group as soon as possible. Now where to meet, where to really start the entire attack in the base, because they would know where the crucial information is. So many say that it's an inside job, inside information as to where the lights were not working, where the houses were very close to that 10-feet wall, where they could actually breach that particular wall and come inside. The other part being that once they had got inside, which area to really reach. Now what we've been told about this particular lineman is that he's been a suspect in a certain sense. Remember, he's not been detained, he's not been arrested.
Okay.
So they're still questioning him. Certain wires were cut, a glove and certain other equipment was really found. But what is being questioned is that in the middle of this entire cantonment, what they found was the lights, 3 powerful lights, were facing upwards instead of facing downwards. So obviously, this obviously made that entire area dark. Now many are going to be questioning as to how no senior officer noticed this before the encounter really began. But at this point of time, the lineman who looks into the entire area is being questioned.
All right, Kamaljeet, thank you so much for joining us and getting us all the updates and the latest information as far as the investigations are concerned. Indian investigating agencies have also traced 2 terror numbers in connection with the terror attacks, and both, interestingly, are Pakistani numbers to which calls were made by these Fedayeen terrorists after they entered India. Now, the first number most probably belongs to the mother of one of the attackers, while the second one belongs to one of the handlers of these terrorists who entered the Air Force base. Calls to these numbers were made from the phones of the cab driver, Igar Singh, whom they slit his throat and killed him, and the Gurdaspur SP's friend Rajesh Verma, whom they kidnapped as well. Indian investigators are also using the call details to build a case and ascertain the identity of the 6 terrorists.
Pictures of the Parliament building in Delhi, pictures of Rajpath, pictures of several other sensitive...